Well, we are a little over 2 hours away from the latest report on the state of China's economy. Beijing releases its third quarter gross domestic product reading soon. Analysts expect the world's second largest economy to have grown by around 7.8% year on year between July and September. That would reflect China's highest rate of expansion in 2013. For more, let's cross live to Chris Clegg. He's a senior analyst at the Economist Intelligence Unit, and he joins us now live from Tokyo. So, Chris, what do you make of this number? I mean, China's not going back to 8 and 10% growth. Is this just what the world has to get used to?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the new normal for China. China wasn't going to continue growing at 10, 11, 12% forever. Our forecast for today's number is 7.6% for Q3 growth. Now that's slightly below consensus, but we think it's still a strong number for China.
So there certainly are some challenges. I mean, there are the issues with the local, government debt, rising property prices. What are you most concerned about?
Well, all of those things are a concern, and the central government is starting to deal with them. We think we're going to see more policy moves when the Communist Party meets in November. At this meeting last year, it was mostly about managing the transition. This year, it will be mostly about the economy. So we're pretty confident that they're going to get on top of some of these issues. But you're right, there are a lot of downside risks to the Chinese economy right now.
So what kind of economic reforms would you expect to come out of that central policy meeting in November?
Well, we're looking at interest rate liberalization as a key policy move. So far, they've liberalized the lending rates, and we're looking for them to lift the ceiling on deposit rates. We've seen the opening of the Shanghai Free Trade Zone. China tends to have pilot projects in select cities, and if they're successful, they get rolled out on a national basis. So we're keeping an eye for what happens in Shanghai to see policy moves for the future.
Now, I'm curious, last month's rise in imports was certainly promising, but how would you read Monday's report from the National Energy Administration that growth in electrical use, both residential and commercial, has slowed?
Right. Well, I mean, the electricity usage is one of the proxies for GDP. So if it has slowed, that's probably not a good sign for the manufacturing sector and the overall Chinese economy. But slowing growth is probably the new normal for China. Like we said at the outset, it's not going to be 8, 9, 10% growth anymore. It's going to be sub 8% growth going forward.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Chris Clegg, live for us from Tokyo.
Thank you.
Now, when going to Australia, most people expect they're going to see a kangaroo or two, but some visitors didn't.